All right, so let's run that back. All right, today I'm talking about the 9 environments of you, specifically memetics. First, let me start off by saying the 9 environments of you are pretty much the 9 dimensions of you and your world. So that includes stuff like your body. It includes how you operate within relationships. It encompasses a lot of things. 9 environments of you. I suggest that you go and look for it. Specifically, what I'm talking about today is memetics. Now, memetics is pretty much an umbrella for all of the other things because memetics affects all of the other areas of our lives. And memetics pretty much is just your thinking. So that would include things like your religion, your cultures, your traditions, all of these different things, which play a huge part in how we operate our lives. Like, we don't think about it, but our culture, our traditions, and our religions affect how we parent, how we work, the things that we work for, the things that we're interested in doing far as work is concerned. It affects our relationships and how we operate within them. Lots of different things. So with memetics, let me look at my notes just to make sure I'm covering everything. It also is going to include like things like rituals and your beliefs, whether you believe in like generational curses or blessings or all of these things. So as you can see, once you take a deep dive into the memetics, then you get a sense of like, hey, this is all of my thinking and thought process. And yes, it will affect every area of my life, including parenting, which is why I said how it relates to autism. So what we don't think about is first, let's start with when a child is in the womb. Your mother's thinking, your mother's feelings, your mother's practices, the way she eats, all of those things are affecting the child, imprinting, and all, even the fears, if you have a fear of demons, or if you have a fear of your child coming out deformed, or if you have whatever is going on, all of your thinking, all your practices, all of those things affect the baby even before the baby is here. So fast forward to after the birth. These things still affect our children because they affect us. We tend to forget that our thinking and our beliefs affect the people around us. However, we always say, your thinking creates your reality. So, yeah, memetics are going to affect things like the way you speak to your child. They're going to, whether you speak in life to your child or you're telling your child, what they can't do, all of those things come from the way we're thinking, our traditions, the limitations that come with those and stuff like that. It affects how we discipline. If you come from a Christian background, that's going to be stuff like spare the rod, spoil the child type thinking, and that affects our child, who is essentially a blank slate. When a child comes out, they're so much closer to spirit, to God, to their authenticity, their true selves and nature, and we nurture them into whatever our thinking and our beliefs are. So that also, memetics are also going to affect the way we eat. One of the categories for the 9 environments of you is your body, and how those things, I might have to just do a whole series. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the whole series, but here we are. So, but your memetics is going to affect the way you eat. Say if you practice Islam and Muslim, I hope I'm saying it, okay, if you're a Muslim or you practice, if you practice that religion, excuse me for not having the correct terminology, but if you practice that, then you might not eat pork or pork products, or, if your thinking says that we are connected with the animals and you are vegan or vegetarian or whatever those things are, all of those things are going to affect the child. Now, also, let's see. What other traditions? If you celebrate certain holidays or you don't, naturally, we're affected by all of these things, and our children are affected by all these things. So, again, with autism, your beliefs also are going to play a big part in that. What I've found in working with certain children is that it's not always a disability versus more so a misunderstanding of how your child operates. That might be they have something going on with their energy and you not understanding, how their energetics work. If you want, some clarity on that, you can always look up your child's human design, and that would kind of tell you how their energy works. Just a pro tip. Some kids also have different spiritual gifts or abilities, meaning like if you have a nonverbal child, maybe they don't know how to communicate, but they're constantly connecting in other ways, whether it be through their feelings, maybe they're empathic, or maybe they are telepathic and they're picking up on your thinking, and that shuts them down, and it makes them go inward and things like that. So just something to consider. Also, so the energetics with children is something that I noticed. A lot of parents don't understand how their child's energy operates. Spiritual gifts, that's a huge one. If you don't understand that your child has spiritual gifts and you're thinking it's something demonic, or you're just thinking it from a health or medical perspective, then you're thinking something's off with them. And that's not always the case. Sometimes it's really just our memetics and how we were raised, and us impressing those things onto the child. Not really that the child has a issue, but it's more like a parenting or family or thinking issue. So with memetics, it's big, and I challenge everyone to start diving deeper into how they're thinking, how you're processing, and your own energy and things like that. And it would make more sense when you can put yourself in your child's shoes. You'll be able to kind of better understand where they're coming from. So it's kind of deep. But once you get past the umbrella of memetics, then you can move on to stuff like, the body and how they're eating, how they're exercising, all of these things. But your memetics and the way that you're thinking and processing, your traditions, your religions, whatever you believe, all of those things are affecting the child. And Spirit is just urging me to say these things because I'm working with these types of children, and I come in and I see like, hey, it's you guys, I understand they've been diagnosed with XYZ, but really if we take a bigger look at all of these areas, then we see that, hey, sometimes they're misdiagnosed. And even when we keep pressing upon they're autistic, they can't do this, they won't never do this, and we project those fears onto our kids, it just, again, it makes them go inward, and it kind of solidifies whatever the diagnosis is. Now, I will say this. A lot of children, I've had a supervisor, admit that a lot of kids are misdiagnosed, and they're never phased out of this system because of, it makes them money, it makes the insurance companies money. However, those who are RBTs or BCBAs who provide these ABA services, once you go in, like I said, you kind of can unravel what's going on. So, I just wanted to quickly hop on here, briefly talk about memetics because it's deep. If you want further clarity, I'm here. We can talk about it. I may post more about it. This type of work is deep, and it can be taxing, but I'm here. 9 environments of you. I urge everyone to look into it. Memetics, start there, because once we attack how we're thinking, or we not necessarily attack, we start reprogramming ourselves to think in other ways, then we can kind of solve the rest of the 8 environments and their mysteries. So just hopping on here today with that, and I hope you all have a good day. Thank you.